discussion around you this whole pre-draft process. Can you explain how, have they measured longer here today?
Well, there was a lot of people at the combine who had messed up measurements. That's why you don't really see too much about it other than media people, because nobody really bought into it. Quite frankly, nobody really cares. But yeah, I knew my arms were 33 inches. Everybody kind of had on every height, weight, wingspan, arm length. Everybody was kind of deducted at the combine. That's why I measured in again today, even though I didn't do anything, because I knew that that's not right.
What do you think of that whole discussion around you? And do you feel like it shouldn't matter for your game? Just what do you make of that element of this discourse around you as a prospect?
For 2 years, nobody had any measurements on me, and nobody said anything about my play. So now all of a sudden, normally decide if I'm a good player or not. I think it's BS. But any decision makers in the NFL, they don't really care. It's all people who don't coach, and they don't coach for a reason.
Oh, Will, ever since the season ended, you declared for the draft, what has this whole journey been like for you, getting prepared for these upcoming days in preparation for April?
Yeah, it's been long, but it's exciting. I'm super, thankful and blessed to be in this, position and have this great program, behind me. Obviously, I'm going to miss LSU, but all the things that it did for me, and I could have never asked for anything more from this place. But I'm just super excited for the next step, and I'm ready for it to happen. I'm sick of waiting.
Well, a bunch of guys have signed some big contracts from LSU recently. What do you think it is about this program that prepares you guys to not only succeed in the NFL, but succeed so much to get those massive deals?
Yeah, I think it's the players, that the team does all the talking for everybody that comes here. They recruit the best players in the country year in and year out. And they don't show up here ready to work. And then it also helps you, you have this world-class facility with everything at your fingertips that you could ever need to put yourself in the best position possible to on Saturday nights. Probably could have got more, honestly. They do so much. I'm just super excited for them.
Well, what did you see from Deli and Miles today? What they did. Just what kind of players our team going to get from them?
Yeah, they did a great job today. Not even just those two guys like Josh Williams, Mason Taylor, Greg, and all those guys, came out and did their thing today. And I was just super excited for them. They all worked so hard, and they all deserve everything that's coming their way. And I'm just super excited for them and their families, this next journey. And they're going to be exactly where they need to be for sure.
Well, you talked about at the combine that, if you had to play guard compared to tackle, you would do it just as long as you get on the field. But how determined are you to make sure teams know that you can start and play in the NFL as a tackle?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to play wherever the coach tells me to. But I've talked to quite a few people, and only 2 teams that I've talked to out of everybody see me as a guard, and that's because they already have tackles. So other than that, everybody knows what position I play, and everybody knows my mindset on that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win and get on the field as early as possible, but everybody knows that I can play tackle.
He's got time for a couple more.
What kind of mark do you hope to have left on LSU and the program and the culture and just Louisiana football, being a Louisiana native yourself?
Yeah, biggest thing for me was, come in and leave it better than I found it, in the O-line room. That's something me and Coach Davis talked about through my recruit process, and I feel like I did a good job of that, trying to show these guys that are in the room right now the right way to go about their business on and off the field, the way to, take care of themselves, the way to approach academics, and really just try to set the best example that I could and build a foundation for Coach Kelly's vision and, his program. And, I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm just super grateful for this place. I dreamed of coming here, dreamed of wearing that purple and gold on Saturday night. It's done so much for me and my family. And, I'll never be able to put into words what this place means to me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just give me what have you specifically sort of been up to since you started your training? I guess that was in Dallas that you went to, right? Sort of take us over the past few months, what you've been doing to get ready for the draft.
Yes, when I went to Dallas, it was like December 15th, all that is combine prep, getting ready for that type of stuff. But after the combine, I moved back here, kind of been transitioning back to football shape, get out of the underwear Olympics mindset, and get back to playing ball. That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready to just get back to all the good stuff. So really just working out, staying in shape, being around my teammates and stuff like that, just helping them get ready for this as any way I can. It's about it. Naps.
Thanks, Will.
Well, Mason, you didn't do the on-field testing, I guess, at the combine, but out here today you did. Why did you choose to wait, and what do you think you showed with your performance today?
First of all, I think I did pretty well, and then really the main reason for that was just keep training. Do the workout at the combine, talk to the teams, get the experience, but then also keep working at it. I was showing a lot of progress when I was still running and training, so I thought it was best for me to keep training and come to pro day and show out. So I believe I did that pretty well. So hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at different draft readings and stuff on you, it just seems like you're one of the more safer picks, I guess, in the draft, and why teams are so enamored with your talent. Just maybe what are some of the conversations you've had with teams about why they feel you're such a good player and could potentially help them at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I just really try to pride myself in any meeting I talk to a team, being that all-around guy, all-around player as a tight end, doing whatever's asked of him, whatever's on my plate, and kind of being a guy that's an every down player as a tight end and doing everything in the run game, pass game. So that's really what I pride myself on, what I try to sell myself on. And then also just being myself in those meetings, laughing, joking around with the guys, meeting new people, and just being myself, showing my character. And, things are bigger than an athlete for me. Just being a better person and, being that locker room guy and that great teammate is also what I try to pride myself on and sell myself to these teams.
Hey Mason, over here. Your dad and your uncle both went through the draft process. What advice have they given you throughout this process?
Yeah, they've told me it's a long process. It's one of the longest years of your life up until rookie mini camp and the season. But really just staying in tune with my discipline and kind of working at it like I've been for the past 3 months. And then, you're switching over to visits. Really just being where your feet are and, being yourself. So enjoying the process, being where your feet are, being yourself to all these teams, and really just selling yourself and not anything else. So.
How y'all doing?
Josh, you finished your first 40 and kind of let out some emotion there. Just what was going through your mind when you found out what your time was?
Just a lot of emotions. It's been a long journey for me in this process of getting ready for this day. A lot of doubts from a lot of people that don't think I can run fast, thinking I'm a 4.6, possibly a 4.7. And I just had that fire in me to prove everybody wrong, anybody that thought that I was going to run slow. So that's the type of mentality I had today.
Josh, you seem to kind of embrace that underdog mentality ever since you stepped foot on campus. Just what has this last few years just been like for you leading up to this moment, and when did it really hit you that you're preparing for the NFL draft?
After the season, it definitely hit me. After traveling to Pensacola, I trained in Exos in Florida for about 6 weeks, and then I finished it off in Arizona at their Exos facility. So it was a 8-week stint of me just training 2 times a day, changing my diet, really focus on drinking a gallon, and focus on the intangibles of staying healthy and recovery and stuff of that nature. But as far as walking on campus with the underdog mentality, I already knew it was going to be this type of journey. By the way, I came into LSU. I understand what LSU means to the state of Louisiana and the respect that they give the players here and the pride that they have for the team. So I knew I didn't necessarily want to be given any type of leeway or any type of chance. I wanted to earn everything I got, and I feel like as time has gone on, I have.
Yeah, Josh, I mean, obviously today was the big one for you, but just in terms of conversations you've had with teams, what have they told you about yourself, or just what has been the message maybe you've wanted to convey to those teams that are thinking about, maybe getting you, or just whatever that process is like?
A lot of teams have all said all positive things to me. A lot of teams wanted to see how I would perform today. I haven't talked to them since, but for me personally, the process has been great. Just taking everything with a grain of salt, just taking it day by day. It's my first and only time going through this process, so I'm just taking everything, going with the flow, essentially.
Josh, some of your former teammates have signed some big contracts in the NFL, and they've quickly succeeded. Why do you think you can as well, and what is it about this place that prepares you to do that?
LSU, I truly believe that it prepares you for the NFL, not only with the competition day in and day out of practice and the scheduling, but also each and every weekend you're playing in some of the top competition in the nation. So I think just subconsciously you get used to the type of schedule that is similar to the NFL. I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm just saying that I believe that LSU puts us in a great position to translate our game into the next level.
Josh, you had a 42-inch vertical during pro day. Did you know you can jump that high?
No, I did not. Honestly, the highest I got, and honestly, I didn't really even work vertical as much as you would think. I started off day one with a 36 and kind of just worked my way up, but I never hit 40 or 42. I think it was more so adrenaline and just really primed and ready for today. Exos is a great facility for me, and I think I gelled well with their work and what we did.
John, you had a great workout, obviously. The numbers speak for themselves, but to finally have this day and to have the performance that you had, what emotion are you feeling right now?
It's a dream come true. You work hard for 8 weeks straight for one day, and you almost put everything on that one day. And it could be stressful, it could be nerve-wracking, but to fight past that fear to get what you want is worth it to me. So, yeah.
Josh, question about one of your teammates. Will, there's all this conversation around his arm length and such, but you've seen him play for a few years now. What would a team that drafts Will Campbell be getting?
Team that drafted Will Campbell will be getting a bona fide leader, a guy that's going to show up early, he's going to leave late, he's going to stand up to any nonsense that goes around the team. You got a dog, a true competitor that's going to fight every single rep. And I don't know too much about arm lengths and things of that nature, but I do know that Will is a freak of an athlete and that he's a special athlete and guy on the football field. So he's our number 7. So I always think that Will should be not discredited for anything.
Josh, I know Garrett's a year early to this process, just he being out there with the receivers and yourself, like, how cool is that for him, and how good is it for him to put himself out there in front of all these scouts and coaches and GMs a year early?
I think it's great for Garrett. I'm super excited for him this season. He can really throw the ball. He's really smart. He's a leader too. He's stepping into his second year as a starting role, so I'm super excited with what we have going in. I've been watching a couple practices here in spring ball. It's been all good things from Garrett.
Mason Taylor also had an outstanding pro day as well. What can you see about him throughout his time at LSU, and what do you think teams will be getting if they do draft Mason Taylor?
Guy has a pedigree of a Hall of Fame father, first of all. But secondly, Mason is calm and collected. He shows up every day and he does what he's asked. He doesn't cause any problems on and off the field, and his routes are insane for a tight end, in my opinion. And he can also block off the edge. So I think Mason is a steal. He's pretty solid, in my opinion.
Going back to yourself, Josh, what are NFL teams going to get out of you when you go to their franchise? And also, how well do you think today has positioned you to become an NFL draftee?
For me, personally, NFL draft, if an NFL team picks me up to their team, they'll be getting a guy that's going to be very focused, very humble, and very determined to make that team first and foremost. Second of all, I'm the type of guy to not worry about personal accolades. I'm just here to do what's asked of me. I want to show everybody what I can do on the next level and that I deserve to be there. But at the end of the day, I'm very humble and very wanting to earn things. So, yeah.
Are you gonna earn another degree before you get out of here? How many do you have so far?
I have two. I only have two. I have my marketing degree in business, and I have my master's of business administration, my MBA. I haven't really decided yet. I've been really focused on this process and trying to get through this last season and finish strong with this day. But in the future, I definitely can see myself getting more degrees. I enjoyed school here at LSU, especially with athletics and how we did things here. So I'm excited for the future, but not as of right now.